Indeed, we are joined today by Max Zaleski of Wrestling with Subtitles. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for joining us on the podcast tonight. How was your holidays?
It was fantastic. Spent some time with the family and ready for ready for the new year and ready to look forward to the next year in wrestling too.
All right. So first of all, why don't you, for our listeners who are not familiar with your movement, can you explain exactly what you're doing with Wrestling with Subtitles?
Yeah, I'll go into my little spiel here. Wrestling with Subtitles is an organization, / campaign to get subtitles and captioning on wrestling DVDs in North America and I believe in Mexico, South America as well. We are currently trying to get WWE, TNA, and ROH to get their sorry, I'm totally blanking. Trying to get them on their our petition. Sorry, our petition on change.org. If you go to change.org and type in Wrestling with Subtitles, you can go on there and sign the petition. You can follow us on Twitter at WrestleSubtitles. Check out Facebook, facebook.com Wrestling with Subtitles. Essentially, we're just trying to get wrestling DVDs and Blu-rays and video releases on their with subtitles. So that's the biggest thing because they don't currently have them for the deaf and hard of hearing fans.
All right. Now, how did this movement all start? What is history behind this?
Back in June of this year, I began talking with a couple friends on Twitter, and one of my good friends, she's hard of hearing, and she doesn't buy the wrestling DVDs because they don't have subtitles. So I asked her if she had seen one of the latest WWE DVDs, and she said no because she couldn't. They don't have any subtitles for the commentary or the promos or the backstory or whatever. And so I'm like, that's amazing. I'm actually fluent in the sign language and was actually going to become an interpreter before my college took the program. So this was like right up my alley. I can be able to actually be community.
Oh, sorry.
If
You're cutting out there, Max. What was that again?
Where did I cut out from? Sorry.
You were talking about how you were going to be an interpreter.
Oh yeah. So I was going to become an interpreter until the college that I was going to cut the program, and this is right up my alley. I mean, I've done stenography, writing and transcribing DVDs before for smaller things such as like high school productions and everything. So this is kind of right up my alley, and I'm able to help those who need it because WWE and ROH and TNA, they alienate their deaf fans by not including this.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And you mentioned a petition. How many have signed the petition thus far?
Today we got 969 total today, as of today. And the petition closes on January 31st. I've postponed it a couple times, mainly because I knew that I was doing this podcast, and then I'm also doing Wizards podcast, which is a huge podcast as well.
All right. And what do you plan to do once you hit the what is your goal for number of signatures, or what are you going to do once you hit that?
Well, in the beginning, my beginning number was I wanted to get 500, and then we passed 500 within a couple months. I'm like, well, if I can get 1,000, then that would be fantastic. So 1,000 is really my top goal. However, as I said, it's going until January 31st, at which time I'm going to be printing out the petition, and I'm going to be sending a hard copy to ROH, TNA, and WWE headquarters.
Mm-hmm. And what do you believe? Do you think that any of the big three have any idea what you're doing right now, or what do you think will happen once you do it?
Well, actually, we have quite a big following, as I said, on Twitter. I mean, we just today passed 1,000 followers, which is kind of big for a thing that's only been around for 6 months. We have a ton of wrestlers. Our biggest one was Dolph Ziggler back in June, like the first week that we were around. He supports the cause, and he retweeted and mentioned us, and that got us so many followers and everything. But since then, I mean, we've gotten huge support by the Blue Meanie and Goldberg and everything. So we get a lot of wrestler traffic. But Dixie Carter, TNA's president, actually messaged me about getting subtitles on their DVDs, and she said that she's going to talk to Spike TV, who deals with all of their DVD manufacturing, to get subtitles on their DVDs. So I know that ROH does, I know that TNA does, and I also know that DG USA does as well, because I talked with Gabe Sapolsky a couple of times.
Wow, you've made a lot of progress in the past few months. Could you imagine the kind of success you had when you started this?
Can you say that again?
You've made a lot of progress in, I guess it'd be the 6 months that you've had this. Could you have imagined from the beginning that you would have had this much success?
Oh, no, not at all. I figured that this was going to be like 100 and 150 followers, and I'd just, slowly turn it into a wrestling Twitter where I would, vent my grievances about the current product, which I do anyway. But now it's broadcast to 1,000 people, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. Hell, I don't even have 1,000 followers. I'm not even close to that. So, now, do you think, you mentioned that TNA, you talked with Dixie Carter about this. Do you think if TNA is one of the only ones that does it, that might give them a bit of a leg up in terms of fans seeing what TNA is doing with this, and then just maybe kind of favoring them over the other products?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a pretty good group of deaf friends, and a lot of them do watch wrestling, and a lot of them have, said that it'd be a lot better if the companies did include subtitles on their DVDs. And I know a lot of places, or a lot of fans overall, even if they aren't deaf, even if they have a hard time understanding or speaking English, because they actually learn it from the subtitles as well. Like people in Germany will read the subtitles to learn English, which I thought was a really interesting when I first started this, because it's not just deaf and hard of hearing fans that they're alienating. It's English as a second language folks in the U.S. and in Canada and Mexico and everything. So yeah, I definitely think that if TNA were to start including them on their DVDs and Blu-ray releases, I think it would definitely help. I mean, I don't have any solid data, but I can definitely tell you that the 15 or 20 deaf friends that I do, or that I have, would definitely probably pick up a couple TNA DVDs.
Oh, that's very good. Graham, do you have any questions so far?
Well, based off what you've said so far, I'm extremely impressed with the fact that you've gotten contact with TNA from wrestlers ranging from Dolph Ziggler to Goldberg. I've got to say I'm extremely impressed by that, and I'm really glad with the support, or all the work they've done up to this point over the last 6 months. I mean, that's quite an impressive feat to make all that progress in such a short period of time. But TNA is a more reachable company, obviously, than WWE. I want to get your thoughts on how you were able to get, or how you're planning on getting in touch with WWE in their contact offices. I've dealt with their offices before, and they're quite honestly a pain in the ass. So I wanted to get your thoughts on how you're going to go about that.
Actually, funny story. About 2 months into my quest, as it were, there's a place on Change.org.
Hello? Hello.
Are you there?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm right on the flight path in Seattle, so I'm getting all kinds of interference. So that's on me.
Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle. So anyway, 2 months ago, or 2 months into my quest, I actually got into contact with WWE's office. Terrace Tombre, which is one of their media people that deals with like packages or whatever, and so I had emailed back and forth to her, and she put it to another higher up or whatever. I don't think she did, but they said that they'd let me know within a month about what their ruling is and what they want to do, and I have never heard back, and I've tried emailing her back and forth. She's on Twitter, but she doesn't, I try to tweet her like once or twice a week just to see if there's any info, and there's not. So going about getting into WWE's head, that's a little bit harder. I think I'm going to need, a guy like Ziggler or, one of the bigger guys to go up to one of the producers and say, hey, this guy, this organization is, causing a big stir in the social media. So that's where that lies, because WWE's community relations people, they're a bit of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, we had a funny story where Graham ended up getting in a phone conversation with John Laurinaitis.
Good time.
Yeah. Okay, so now do you think that if TNA goes ahead with this, that might start off a chain reaction where we'll see the other two go ahead with it?
I definitely think that WWE would. ROH, I'm not quite as sure as. They're a smaller company. It does take a little bit of money and a little bit of time to put their stuff on. I've sent out feelers to ROH before, telling them, hey, if you want to send me a DVD before, or the movie file, the video file beforehand, I'll do it, and you can just, you can give me some promo material and put me up on your website as your official subtitler or stenographer or whatever. And I haven't heard anything back or whatever, so.
Well, anyways, this sounds just like a fantastic movement. And if the listeners haven't already, go to change.org, type in Wrestling with Subtitles, and go ahead and sign that petition. Follow this guy at Wrestling with Subtitles. Just a phenomenal movement that really could help, I guess the word would be unalienate part of their fan base for those who are hard of hearing and also those who are trying to maybe learn English as a second language. Do you have any other things you'd like to say about your movement?
Not really. I've got one more plug that I kind of have to get out there. I've been playing and been a part of a game called TheWrestlingGame.com. They have supported my project since day one. They put up the link to the petition, to the Facebook, to the Twitter, all up on their website, all up on the game. They've sent a message out to all players. It's played by 150,000 people a year. It's a huge game, great guys. I've met some of my best friends on there. TheWrestlingGame.com, fantastic. Go there for a little bit of break of the norm.
It definitely, and Wrestling with Subtitles is also affiliated or partnered up with WrestleEnigma.com. It's also the site that hosts us, so definitely a good partnership for all of us involved. And now, I kind of laughed when you said Seattle, because I'm about to ask an off-topic question. Do you follow soccer at all?
I do. The Seattle Sounders are huge. We get like 69,000 people in the field every single time they play.
See, I really liked you until you said that. Yeah, I'll just say this. I still got my ticket from the Open Cup. Go to Kansas City, baby. All right. So